Tonight, an unusual pep rally.
Plus, students learn tips for healthy eating habits. Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision Nightly News for October 19, 2012. I'm Beatrice Montgomery.
And I am Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's not unusual for Troy's Student Government Association to hold a pep rally the Thursday night before a home game. However, another scheduled event in the home of the pep rallies, Sartain Hall, posed a bit of a dilemma. But as Destiny Hook shows us, the pep rally happened with some minor tweaks.
Thursday night's pep rally was a little different than what Troy students are used to. The pep rally was held between sets of the Trojan volleyball game.
Tonight we're having a pep rally in between sets at our regularly scheduled volleyball game. There was a schedule conflict with the volleyball game and the pep rally both being scheduled for the same time. We just decided to combine the two, and we think it's going to be great.
Although there was conflict, Thompson feels as if the joint event will be beneficial to both teams.
It's a great way for our students not only to come out and support the football team, but also to support the volleyball team as well.
After the pep rally, a student talked about why she believes support from students motivates our athletic teams.
I could tell with the volleyball players that it was really helping, that we were all there cheering them on. So that was a really good feeling to be there and helping not only football but volleyball as well.
Fans got to see the Troy cheerleaders and the Troy Dance Repertory Ensemble perform during the pep rally.
Watching the Troy Dance Repertory Ensemble perform was awesome to show another facade of our student life.
Trojan football coach Larry Blakeney pumped the crowd up, and one of his players says that encouragement from students really impact the game.
You know, when the student section, the crowd gets loud, I mean, there's no other feeling greater than that. It boosts everybody's spirits, and I mean, we all play better.
The Trojan football team will take the field at noon this Saturday on Larry Blakeney Field.
We encourage all students to attend the football game as well, so we're looking forward to the weekend.
Destiny Hooks, Troy TrojanVision News.
The Trojan football team will be in action tomorrow at noon at Veterans Memorial Stadium. And as for how the volleyball team fared, Daniel Percival will let you know later in sports.
Last night, Troy students learned about how paying a little more attention to what they eat can have several long-term health benefits. Courtney Chandler has more.
The Department of Health and Human Services at Troy University established the tobacco-free campus earlier this year. That same department has a new priority on their agenda.
And we thought we would tackle our first problem both in the region of this country and nationally, and that is obesity.
Health and Human Services held a viewing of a documentary last night in Howe Hall and gave students the chance to discuss the health issues it addressed.
Weight of the Nation is an HBO film series. There are 4 videos altogether that really highlight the obesity problem in the United States.
This was the second of 3 Weight of the Nation discussions. Last night's topics dealt with the American society's convenient eating habits. Johnson says that many Americans are too busy to pay attention to unnutritious foods they are putting into their bodies.
We are busy and we're stressful. And the movie that we showed tonight pointed out that we have a lot of stressful eating patterns, sedentary jobs, and people just don't realize the amount of calories that they consume and what they really need to maintain a healthy weight.
Johnson gave students simple strategies to keep their nutrition intake up and their weight down.
Everybody who lost weight and kept it off were more active.
Spending less time on the internet and finding ways to spend more free time moving around, and paying closer attention to foods and drinks.
So the average 20-ounce soda has 232 calories. You take 2 or 3 of those a day and you're almost at 1,000 calories.
Courtney Chandler, Troy TrojanVision News.
The third and final Weight of the Nation discussion will be this Thursday in Howe Hall.
With the 2012 presidential election 19 days away, one Troy organization is making sure that all students will be able to vote. Troy Student Government Association is encouraging all students to be registered to vote. Students will have the convenience of being able to register on campus at the SGA office. SGA President Will Thompson says that it's important for students to be prepared for the election in their Troy home.
They have until October 26th to register in time for the November 6th general election. So if they want to stop by any time between now and then and get signed up to vote, whether they want to register as a first-time voter or if they want to switch their voter registration over to Troy for convenience purposes, that's perfectly fine. We can accommodate both of those needs here in the SGA office.
Students will be able to register to vote Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the SGA office located in the Trojan Center, room 215.
And now taking that look at news from around the state. In Montgomery, Alabama's unemployment rate dropped in September after climbing for the 4 previous months. Governor Robert Bentley said today that Alabama's rate fell from 8.5% in August to 8.3% in September. That's below last year's rate of 8.8%.
And in Tuscumbia, a teenager has died following a prank played by a group of teenage boys. Authorities say 15-year-old Jesse Rainey was taking off life support today at a Birmingham hospital. Colbert County Sheriff Ronnie May said previously that the shooting happened early Saturday morning in a rural home in Tuscumbia where 8 teenagers had gone for the weekend. No adults were present.
And in Mobile, a missing crew member from a ship that was preparing to enter the port of Mobile was located when he walked into the Mobile office of the vessel's ship agent. The Coast Guard launched the search Monday for the crew member after he was reported missing aboard the Singapore flag container ship MSC Tokyo.
Still to come on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, the Trojan volleyball team looked to set a record last night and ended up setting 2 in the process. Daniel Percival will have more on that story coming up in sports.
But first, Election Days is just weeks away and both candidates are back on the campaign trail talking about another heated topic. We'll have that story and more after the break.
The presidential candidates have different views on military spending. I'm Susan McGinnis in Norfolk, Virginia, where defense industry workers have different views of the candidates.
Any questions?
No.
You know. We're not magicians, we can't read your mind.
We need your questions, each and every kind. Will this react with my other medicine?
Hey, what are all these tests even for? Questions are the answer.
Troy has given to me so much more than I ever anticipated, and it creates that desire to keep doing something better. There's a perfect opportunity to get involved. Troy has many organizations here on campus that just give you the opportunity to find your niche here, to find your home, to find your passion.
On campus or online, Troy offers you the hands-on experience you need to pursue an exciting career in communications and journalism. Troy University. It's all you need to know.
My name is Liz. I study broadcast journalism at Troy, and I am a Troy Trojan.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Deatra Montgomery at the Global News Desk. Deatra.
Thanks, Bailey. The presidential candidates have differing views on military spending, and the people who may understand that best are Virginians. Roughly 20% of jobs in Virginia are in defense. Susan McGinnis reports from Newport News Shipyard.
Vote November 6th.
Gene McRudder is handing the Democrats' message to as many of his co-workers as possible.
Vote Tim Kaine, meet the governor.
At the gates of the Newport News Shipyard, he's passing out flyers for Virginia Senate candidate Tim Kaine. And McRudder, who insulates submarines for a living, is voting for President Obama.
I'm not worried about our military staying strong. I haven't seen a president in my history that has allowed defense to go too far down.
The president plans to scale back military spending, and unless Congress acts, billions of dollars in additional defense cuts tied to lowering the debt will kick in next year. Many of the 21,000 men and women who work here worry they could lose their jobs, but McRudder isn't one of them. He says this election is about more than defense.
I'm worried about all the other government programs that Romney and them take over, like Medicare.
Polls show the race too close to call in this battleground state. Mitt Romney points to those looming defense cuts in almost every visit he makes here, and the message is getting through.
And it weakens our defense. It makes us vulnerable to attack from our enemies, from our terrorists.
Sean Devlin is a Vietnam vet and a shipyard mechanic. He says he's already seeing the impact of the president's policies.
It's taking money out of my pocket, and it's also putting a lot of question marks as far as in our upcoming contract that we have with the union with this company.
Both sides will continue to share these shipyard gates, but will go different ways on Election Day. Susan McGinnis, CBS News, Newport News, Virginia.
She knows what happened to her. She told doctors in English.
British doctors released this photo of Malala Yousafzai 10 days after the Taliban put a bullet in her head and tried to assassinate her. Doctors say the 15-year-old is out of a coma and on her feet.
She's doing very well. In fact, she was standing with some help for the first time this morning.
Doctors say Malala remembers being on her school bus in Pakistan, then waking up in a hospital in a foreign country.
One of the first things she asked the nurses is which country was she in.
Doctors say she has some damage to her brain, and her injuries suggest she was shot from above at point-blank range.
She was struck around here, just above the back of the left eye, and the bullet went down through the side of her jaw, damaging the skull.
Doctors say it'll be at least a couple of weeks before they can start rebuilding Malala's skull. First, they have to deal with the infection from the bullet that came within inches of killing her. A group of Pakistani women lit candles in Birmingham to support Malala and women's rights.
Girls like Malala live in fear every single day, afraid of the Taliban.
Taliban fighters say they tried to murder Malala because she spoke out against them. The young activist won awards for her bravery as she defied the terror group's ban on education for girls. Doctors say she knows about the worldwide attention she's getting and is grateful for all the support. Charlie Daggett, CBS News, Birmingham, England.
2 new studies are reminding parents that getting children vaccinated for the flu can save lives. Big Ashaban reports from Los Angeles.
Ready for your shot?
Yes. 11-year-old William Argametto is waiting to get a flu vaccine. His mother makes sure he gets one every year.
So he doesn't get sick, because when he gets sick, his asthma triggers.
Now, a new study from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention shows the flu vaccine is also critical for children who don't have health issues. Researchers looked at pediatric flu-related deaths and found 43% were in healthy children.
About half of kids who die of the flu have no underlying medical problems and can die within 4 days of contracting the virus.
Flu complications killed more than 800 children over the past 8 years. Children under 5 are most vulnerable. A second study by researchers here at Children's Hospital Los Angeles shows schools that offer student vaccinations have higher rates of attendance and lower rates of flu. At one elementary school, the study also found that when nearly half the students were immunized, unvaccinated kids also appeared to receive some protection.
Kids spread the virus up to 2 days before they show any symptoms of the flu and for up to 10 days after. So it's a very long period where they're contagious and people may not really realize it.
William understands the shot is important.
I could stay healthy and nothing will happen to me.
Ready?
And doctors remind parents the less painful nasal spray vaccine is also an option. Bigat Chaban, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, such as how you can get cash for your old phones through an ATM machine, you can tune into Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now, back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Deatra. Now Danielle Percival joins us for a look at sports. So Danielle, it's been a busy weekend for Trojan athletics. Action-packed weekend right around the corner. A couple of whole games on campus. Seems like there's plenty to talk about in sports.
That's absolutely right, Bailey. On Fridays, most of the time, we are previewing the action that's coming up this weekend. But with 2 teams in action yesterday at home, we've got plenty to get into as far as recapping the action before we get into a preview. So let's get started.
All right.
All right, stop me if you've heard this one before. What do you get when you combine a pep rally and a volleyball game? Well, it turns out, pretty good volleyball game. The team cemented its second place standing in the Sun Belt with a win over South Alabama 3-1 in front of a record crowd of 1,647 fans at Sartain Hall Thursday night. The Trojans have tied the school record for Sun Belt wins in a season with 6 conference matches still to play. The Trojans have also already matched last season's 16 wins with a month still to play. Coach Sonny Kirkpatrick was excited about the win, but knows the team still has some work to do to stay on track.
Great game. I don't think we played nearly as well as we needed to. That part of that had to do with the fact that they played really, really well and got us out of what we like to do. Our crowd was phenomenal. We really appreciate everyone that came out. and hopefully we'll get a lot more people out to our matches. I think it was an exciting match. We had to work for everything, and luckily we managed to win it and stay in second place.
The Trojans return to action on Saturday morning when they welcome Louisiana Lafayette to Sartain Hall at 9:30. Now, fans do need to take note that the parking lot between Sartain Hall and George Wallace Drive will be reserved for football RV parking. And Thursday was also a good day for the soccer team as well. They picked up their second conference victory of the season over Louisiana Lafayette, who they were tied with for 8th place in the conference. Now, they aren't guaranteed a spot in the conference tournament yet, but they did increase their chances by taking over sole possession of 8th place. They can help themselves out on the road this weekend. The Trojans head to Monroe to take on Louisiana Monroe on Sunday. Now, the Warhawks have struggled so far this season with a 4-12 record, and that includes 6 losses in their last 7 games. The Warhawks have been outscored this season 39-14. The Trojans and the Warhawks will meet on the pitch at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. And then tomorrow, Trojan football fans get to break out the gear and head to Veterans Memorial Stadium for the first Saturday game for the Trojans in 3 weeks. Though with an early kickoff time, you might not have much time for tailgating, but if the Trojans get their first win at home on Saturday, after the game, there might be a little partying in the streets. While the Trojans may not have been able to win at home so far this season, they're at least doing a little better than their opponent this weekend. Florida International was picked as the preseason number 1 in the Sun Belt, but has yet to live up to those expectations. The Panthers are 1-6 this year, but head coach Larry Blakeney knows the Trojans will still have their hands full against FIU.
I'm sure they're disappointed in their start or to this juncture, and I know they'll be trying to find a way to get on the winning side themselves, which is what we'll be trying to do.
But when a team has only picked up 1 victory all season, how do you avoid overlooking them?
The record don't show what kind of team FIU is. FIU is a real good team, got a lot of speed, got a lot of talent. If we think about overlooking them, we're in some trouble. Basically, like I said, we're not going to take them lightly. I know they're not going to come in and just lay down for us. They're going to give us their best shots.
Well, I feel like the Sun Belt is a great conference, and, every team is going to come every week ready to play. So, we don't worry about the records or anything like that. We just have to go out and play our best football, and that's what we're going to try to do.
The Trojans are 2-2 in the conference and looking to stay alive in the title hunt. But Blakeney says this game isn't a must-win, at least not for his team.
What's scary is it may be a must-win for them. They won 1 game, and so I think we're going to get their best shot. So we gotta make sure we prepare well and try to get ready to play and see if we can't beat FIU.
The Trojans and the Panthers are set to kick off at noon tomorrow. And for fans who want to participate in Trojan Walk, well, you'll have to be up and at 'em bright and early. Trojan Walk will begin at 9:45 just after the volleyball game has begun. So Bailey Diatro, we just got into it that it's going to be an action-packed day on Troy's campus tomorrow, and the action is beginning early, so if you want to get here and enjoy all the fun, you got to get up early and get out here, but it'll definitely be worth it.
Absolutely. It's always great to have games at home when we have 2, the football game and the volleyball game, so everyone should definitely just keep in mind to come out and support the Trojans.
That's right. It always helps the teams, as we found out from Destiny's package about the pep rally.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Danielle.
Thanks.
Coming up on TrojanVision Nightly News, we'll learn about one of Troy's Chinese partner universities.
But first, we've seen warmer temperatures this week, but it seems like things are cooling down again. What can we expect for the weekend, Courtney?
Well, it looks like those cool temperatures and sunny skies are going to be sticking around for our weekend, but I'll have more on that coming up next in weather.
Some kids today eat almost no fruits and vegetables at all. They're loading up on greasy, high-calorie foods and not getting the nutrition they need. These doctors are here to help with a problem that won't go away. It'll just keep getting bigger, like our kids, unless they start eating healthy things like fruits, vegetables, and high-fiber vegetarian foods.
How many burgers do you have?
How many do you want?
All of them. And your chicken nuggets, too.
Hey, Keith, these guys want all our burgers. And chicken nuggets, too.
Okay, but that's a lot of food. Hey, excuse me? You can't do that.
Somebody's got to do something.
Let's help our kids grow up strong and healthy.
Call for a free booklet or visit our website, kidsgethealthy.org.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Courtney Addison joins us for a look at weather.
Well, Courtney, big game coming up. What can we expect for tomorrow's game?
Well, Deatra Bailey, it's almost picture-perfect conditions. We're going to have sunny skies, a little bit of a light breeze, not too hot, not too cold. Perfect weather to go outside and enjoy the football game. But I'll have more on that later on. First, let's take a look at our current conditions. Looking at our current conditions, we have sunny skies this afternoon. Temperature coming in at 73 degrees. Dew point at 30%. Humidity at 20%. And barometer coming in at 29.83 and steady. And winds coming in from the west at 11 miles per hour. And going into today's statistics, we have a high of 74, a low of 48. There was no rain. Sun rose at 6:50 a.m. and the sun should set at 6:08 p.m. And now looking at these temperatures from around the state, we have temperatures coming in from the 60s and the 70s. We have Mobile coming in at 78, Montgomery at 75, Birmingham at 69, and Huntsville at 64, a little cooler by the farther north to go. Troy coming in at 73, Phoenix City 75, and Dothan at 78. Sunny skies around the state. There's a little bit of clouds the farther up north we travel, but for the most part, sunny skies are across Alabama. Going into current temperatures around the southeast, very warm temperatures. We see Alabama experiencing temperatures in the 70s. Nashville coming in at 61. If we go farther south, they're seeing temperatures in the 80s like Tampa, Orlando 85. And going into current temperatures around the United States, very cool temperatures in the central part of the United States, seeing temperatures in the 40s and the 50s, as well as in the northeast, they're also experiencing temperatures in the 50s. But if we look back towards west, we see in California and in the Four Corners, they're seeing temperatures in the 70s and in the 80s, some places even seeing temperatures at 89. And going to our current surface map, lots of pressure systems developing out west, not having a whole lot of effect on our area right now. But if we look closer into our area, we see this cool front which has pushed through, which has brought those cooler temperatures that we're experiencing now and those little bit of rain showers that we had the past couple of nights. And looking at our departure from normal, we're staying about the same that we usually are this time of year. In the central part of the United States, they're seeing temperatures a lot cooler than they are. But if we look back towards the west, towards California, they're seeing temperatures a lot warmer than they usually are. Some places seeing temperatures all the way up to 13 degrees warmer. And looking at our travel weather, if you're planning on traveling this weekend, if you stay in the southeastern part of the United States, you should be good for the most part. If you're looking at traveling farther up north, you might run into, there's a possibility you could run into some rain in the next 12 hours. Going into Saturday's forecast, no rain in our area, should remain clear for the football game and as well as for the volleyball game. Traveling up north, there is a possibility they could be seeing a little bit of light rain up to half an inch of rain. Going into Sunday, our weekend should continue to be clear. If you look back towards the west, they're seeing a little bit of wind advisory as well as some rain. And going into Monday, no rain in our area. This band of showers has started to form, which we could be seeing that in the next couple of days. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And going into Tuesday, should remain clear. Very clear start to our week. And looking at tonight's forecast, we have clear skies with a 10% chance of rain. Strong winds coming in from the west at 13 miles per hour with a low of 46. Those winds could get a little lower throughout the night as we go on. And as looking at tomorrow's forecast, mostly sunny skies. There is no rain. Light winds coming in from the north-northwest at 7 miles per hour with a high of 75. So it should be perfect weather to get outside and enjoy the football game. And going into our 4-day forecast, we have Saturday high of 75 with a low of 47, Sunday high of 79, low of 50, Monday with a high of 80, low of 52, and Tuesday with a high of 81. So Deatra, Bailey, looks like it's going to be beautiful weather. We're going to keep those warmer temperatures, sunny skies, a little bit of clouds and light breeze. So it's good weather to get outside and enjoy the football game and especially partying in the streets after we hopefully will win our first home game.
Well, that sounds great. Thank you so much, Courtney.
Thank you.